I'm Christian Abbott.
I'm Nathan Lavender.
I'm Sean Abbott, and this is the Red Mist Podcast.
Hello, welcome to the Red Mist Podcast, Season 4, Episode 9. This is a good one. The number 9, Melling Coors Thunderbird of Bill Elliott. Won the Winston Million with this car. Won the 1988 Winston Cup Championship with this car.
That is a good one.
It is a good one. It's iconic.
Yeah.
Love it. Went 200 miles an hour at Talladega. Back in the day. All right. On tonight's episode, we will talk NASCAR and the Cookout 400 at Martinsville. Paperclip.
Mm-hmm.
We will talk some MotoGP from COTA. Red Bull, I love it. It's the Red Bull US Grand Prix.
Yeah, they're getting multiple home races for sure.
And then we will look ahead to this weekend of the Japanese Grand Prix at Suzuka.
Oh yeah.
When we recorded last week, we were just speculating that Lawson was getting cut, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was like literally the next
Well, I shouldn't say
day.
getting cut. It was going to be a driver swap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think it was the next day or two
Next day,
that
yeah.
it happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we're always one day behind on some stuff.
We're always, yeah. All right, so we'll discuss that a little bit, and we'll make our picks. I have Nate's picks. Very excited to have them.
Do you? Did he get back?
I do. Yep. Some shocking picks he's got.
Yes.
First, I had to text him back because I thought he was going to go for an Alpine 1-2. Wasn't too.
He always hopes that the homeland will do something for him.
Yeah, the French, right? Gotcha.
We.
All right, let's get into it. NASCAR's first short track race of the season, a classic track. A lot of hot dogs get eaten there, and going for the trophy, which I think is one of the best trophies, the Grandfather Clock.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying. I think if one track, if I could win a race, I'd be very excited about the trophy. I'd be more excited about the trophy than it was about getting the win.
You would rather the Grandfather Clock over the Lobster?
Yes, by a mile. An oversized. I always love how they have this ginormous lobster at New Hampshire.
Yeah.
That if you cook it, it's absolutely the most disgusting thing.
Traditions.
You know, I know tradition, but a large lobster is just not, not the most exciting thing. But anyway, a little tough. Anyways, you're a winner this weekend, and welcome back to the winner's circle. I don't have Nate here, but Denny Boo Hamlin, who still has a grudge against the crowd. I can't understand why.
I mean, just lean into it at this point. So,
yeah,
just accept it.
Yeah, he led a Toyota 1-2-3 with Christopher Bell second and his teammate Darrell Wallace third. followed by the Chevrolets of Chase Elliott, Kyle Larson, and Ross Chastain. I applaud Ross Chastain because he irritated Joey Logano. So
There you go.
Ross Chastain moves up on my list of favorite drivers. Brian Preece, Nate's guy, with a fine 7th. Chase Briscoe in 9th, and Tyler Gilliland in 10th. Overall, race was pretty good. It was entertaining. Couple spins here and there, guys. Getting typical short track stuff. Nothing, not like anyone was punting anybody. It was just somebody moved over and got taken out. That type of thing. Weren't clear. Even though the spotters still said they weren't clear, they moved over.
It was better than the Xfinity race.
The Xfinity race, yes, that was that was NASCAR at its finest. I will say that.
I was gonna say I saw some highlights of that. Well, let me rephrase that. I saw the highlight of the
highlight
lap, and it sounded like that's how the rest of the race was going. So I just immediately was even more turned off from even watching the Cup race on Sunday.
Some folks were posting, it was a dumpster fire. It truly was a dumpster fire.
Yeah. I mean that's I get it, and this is my rant always with NASCAR of like once it has a few good races and then it maybe I'll watch it, and then it just takes one round like this just to be reminded nope, it's still the same crap. I get people will be like, well, it's short track racing. I'm like, yeah, but just cleaning the guy out in front of you, that's not racing, man. I get the bump and run, but cleaning a guy out is not racing.
Yeah, the bump and run is fine. I have, especially on the short track, I have no problem with that. But the dump and run, is not.
And I mean, I can't even remember who won the race. Was it Allgaier that won the Xfinity race?
I don't know.
Anyways,
there was just a lot of
whoever won the race was in 5th going into that lap, and I'm like, all right, just everyone cleans each other out, and you can sneak by.
Yeah.
I mean, good for him, right place, right time. But
I have no problem with who won the race. I just have a problem with how it happened.
Yeah, it
was just dumb.
So that's just that's what always gets me.
Yeah. Well, that's
I mean, fair play to NASCAR. They've got a good run of no green, white checkered finishes right now. So
yeah.
Hopefully I didn't just jinx that, but.
Yeah. No, I mean, Denny hung around all day, and him and Larson kind of hung around all day, and then Larson he had a bad restart on the final.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of slipped back. Chase gave him a break to get in, and then towards right on the last lap, Larson moved over and let Elliott take 4th. Kind of classy move.
Yeah.
So
that's good.
But yeah, it was. I don't think he had. It wasn't much he could really do. So, but. Anyways, all right. Well, that's exciting. Let's take a quick look at the points, shall we? Nate would be anxious to see this. Well, William Byron is our points leader and locked in. Kyle Larson is 2nd in points and locked in. Christopher Bell he has 3 wins, but he's in 4th place on points. Chase Elliott in 3rd place, no wins. Hamlin 6th with a win, and Josh Berry 19th with a win, but he's locked in. Pretty exciting.
I mean, hey, win and you're in. That's all that
win
matters.
And you're in.
There is nothing else matters.
Matters.
As long as
That's
you win,
all.
you're in.
You're
If
in.
you don't win, you're probably not going to be in. So
Right.
that's all it takes. Unless, well, actually,
Tremendous.
did Logano win last year?
Yes, he did.
Okay. So he won and was in.
He won, but he lucked out on that race. Oh no, wait a minute. He didn't. I don't know. Something happened. Anyways, doesn't matter. Can't stand him. Can't. No. Anyways, enough of him. Can't stand that guy. Anyways, let's move on to real racing. The MotoGP at COTA. I am absolutely amazed by these guys the more and more I watch them, because the track, we had rain and the race took place on a drying track, so they went with slicks. In the warm-ups leading, where they go and do reconnaissance laps, guys are dumping bikes left and right.
Mm-hmm.
And in one hilarious moment, the safety car took itself out.
Oh.
With a fantastic spinning crash.
Oh, that's
all
where
by
that
its
was.
onesie.
Oh,
yeah, that's where that was. That was fantastic.
All right. Oh.
So we went to the grid formation. Marc Marquez on pole with Alex, his brother, second. Teammate Pecca Bagnaia. I can't pronounce the poor guy. I love the guy, but I can't pronounce his name. He was third. And man, these guys went, and Marc Marquez got away. And Alex was kind of cruising around in second. But I mean, they were making passes, like, not them, but the back, the guys in the mid pack. If you just put one wheel wrong, you were like, you're gonna go flying. These guys were like passing people. It was crazy. And they had the best thing about MotoGP is the high definition slow-mo cameras, because they were coming down the back straight, and the guys were braking for that. You come off they make that left-hander there, then they go into the twisty bit. The bike literally was picking up the rear wheel, and because they were dumping on the front brake.
Yeah.
And they're and all you could see was just the tire just lifting up, and then they dump it in the corner. And I was just like, these guys are nuts, absolutely nuts.
Yeah, I mean, they're on racing bikes, so I mean, of course, you got to be a little crazy to do that.
But I mean, and then you're laying the thing over an inch from the ground.
Yeah,
it's just crazy, absolutely crazy. So it was amazing. And so then Bagnaia got past Alex Marquez and started to kind of reel in Marc Marquez, and then he got to within a second, and then Marquez kind of said he better, he started to pull it out again. So he's pulling it out, and he comes down through one, goes into two, and then starts going through the S's. And before you come, you make the ones that go, just before you start to go up the hill, there's a last set of left rights. He tried to cut the right-hander, and he put the bike into the water and dumped it. Jeez. So he went down. Bike slid. The rear foot peg came off the bike. He gets the bike back up, and he's riding. He does 3 laps with a foot peg. It was nuts. He was just trying to stay in it, but after 3 laps, he was like, he couldn't do it. And the front windshield there, that windshield, the fairing, it cracked. So he was getting buffeted so bad. So Bagnaia pulled by him. His brother Alex went by him, and then they duked it out. Alex got within a half second, and then Pecco just pulled away. I think he was just saving the tires and pulled away, and then it was wild. Like I said, it was the most entertaining 20 laps of racing I've seen all season, and it was just absolutely skill-filled throughout the pack. So awesome stuff.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it was, and
definitely got to do more MotoGP watching.
Mark having a off now has flipped the point standing. His brother Alex is now 1 point ahead of him.
Mm-hmm.
Even though no one is locked into the final here. This is pure points, just to let people know.
Yeah. Full season.
Pecco is 11 points behind Mark and 12 points behind Alex. And then Frankie Morbidelli's 20 behind Bagnaia. But it's just awesome. Awesome stuff. Next race for these guys. Oh, Qatar.
That should be good because it's a bike.
That's really a bike track, right?
Yeah.
So that should be fun.
Yep.
That's not this week, but next week. That's exciting. But yeah, wow, what a fun, just great stuff to watch. The coverage is amazing too. It's really good, and it's on Fox.
They do stuff.
FS1. It was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
All right. All right. Let's move on to news and notes. So before we get to the big story of the week in F1 and Suzuka, let's just touch on a couple things. Jay Fry, canned by IndyCar, is now president and CEO of Rahal Letterman Lanigan Racing. Very interesting.
Yeah.
No thoughts on that?
Not really. I'm not well versed on it. I just saw management change, so it's yeah.
Didn't really affect you.
No, not at the moment. I did see. Speaking of IndyCar, I did see IMS opened up there, or at least did a whole
the museum.
Tour their museum.
Yeah, it opened.
That looks great.
Yeah, I mean, we saw it.
Yeah,
I mean,
we saw before the renovation. Yes,
before the renovation. I mean, we were all impressed with it.
Yeah,
so much so that we paid the extra money and came back the next day to take the private tour.
The basement tour.
Which was amazing.
So that's what I was trying to look for, because they redid the whole thing. So when you walk in, it's no longer just the one level that you walk into. They've also added a second floor in there.
Right.
Like probably like half of the building, I'd say, it has a second floor. From the ground level, and then I think they did a great job with that.
It looks awesome
to kind of move everything around a bit more, and it seems like but what interested me was that they went downstairs as well, and I can't remember if that is the basement that we went and toured around, or if that was
I think it's level, the basement.
If like there was like two underground levels, where we were at like the second lowest one, and then they just made the first lower level where you could walk around. Because I was trying was trying to remember all of the cars that we saw because they had a lot of stuff, but because all the engines of throughout the years that was displayed up on the ground level. They had a good chunk of cars that weren't on the main floor when we were there that were in the basement that they had moved upstairs as well. I mean, the first car literally that they showed off when you walked in on this renovation was Sterling Moss's Mercedes.
No. Really?
Yeah, but that's what we walked into first on the basement tour.
I know, down in the basement. I know, and I was freaking amazed.
They pulled that up.
Oh, okay. So now maybe everything is up there.
Right. That's kind of what I'm getting at now is like everything is there. So then I guess the rest of that collection, did that get sold off?
I think
is it somewhere in a different warehouse? Because didn't they say that they had another space?
Well, there was that one door. Remember when we were walking out to the elevator and it was like this black garage door, and the guy said, "Oh, there's more cars back there," and then there were other cars at another location. Now the last set of cars that were on, not when we first walked in Moss's car, and then we kind of all went counterclockwise. The last set of cars on the right on the way out, that was all part of the Pullman George family collection. Mm-hmm. So perhaps those cars have been moved to that other location for the rest of the cars.
Because there was some like there were cars there that were not Indy cars. So like it was, which made the basement tour cool to look at, aside from just like literally standing over a lot of this stuff.
No, it was cool. The whole thing, that museum is definitely an awesome thing, and I think people should. When you're there, you got to definitely take a tour of it. It was amazing.
Yeah. And if they offer anything extra
that's private,
go do it.
Do it.
It's worth it.
It's definitely worth it.
So,
it was crazy.
I mean, I know we lucked out with the group that we went with because we were down there.
Oh, I know.
And,
I think we were down there a lot longer than most groups.
Yeah, but we were also asking some pretty good questions. Kind of
the motorcycle,
walking around.
I know the guys are all into all the chain driven cars and stuff. There was a lot of good questions on that. I mean, I was still geeking out of the Sterling Moss car. So, anyways, it was awesome.
I know because you guys ended up walking around a lot of like the older car collection. Just like regular street cars of the time period, and I was still like
some of the race cars
because I was looking, I was going back and forth between a few of them, just looking at different time periods of like what did they change here, how'd they do this here. So
I will say that was one of the more impressive places I've been. So it's really, really cool. It was almost it definitely. I mean, I thought the museum when we went to Le Mans was cool.
Yes.
This was better. But it different cars and stuff. But it was really cool. I mean, it was just the whole. I mean, just the history and stuff. But it was awesome. It's a great take. I mean, anybody should go see it. It's awesome.
Yeah.
So.
I know, yeah. Well, actually, speaking of Le Mans, Audi is selling.
Yeah, they're selling their cars.
Their prototypes. So.
They're prototypes and DTM cars.
Oh, is it DTM as well?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
pretty cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of like it.
I like it. A few of us were talking about it, and like someone brought up a good point of it'll be cool to see those at any historic festivals if people do decide to go run them. But man, I hope it doesn't take a whole launch control center to.
Oh yeah, to start them up.
Because I mean, those things.
You basically, I think you have to. I think you have to get Brad Kettler to come and take care of it for you.
So, God, yeah, because I mean, so we saw 2014 at COTA, and those cars were cool. And then when we went
Yeah.
in, I think when we went in 16 to Le Mans, was that after
Yep.
they like really toned down the noise even more?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, because when we went there, like it was literally a fan sucking wind, or sucking in
Yep.
air
It
behind
sounded
as
like
it
it.
went
Yeah,
by.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. You didn't
Yeah.
even hear a motor. You just it just the
Yeah.
air going behind, being moved
It
behind
just
it
went
was,
whoosh.
yeah. It was really cool. I mean, it stunk that they were slow that year, but man, it was cool.
Yeah. No, you're right.
2 months until Le Mans.
Yeah. I know. It's getting crazy.
End of March Madness this week. Masters, month of May,
Yep.
and then Le Mans.
Yep. It's gonna be wild.
Actually, and then once you get into
Well, May you get the road course at Indy, right? And then we go to qualifying and practice.
and
And
then the
so
500.
that'll be fun.
Well,
And oh yeah, Kyle Larson.
yes, yep.
His car was revealed. That's
Speaking of
exciting.
that, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that. Just kind of just seeing what else is out there.
Did we talk about Racer buying out MAV TV?
Oh no, that was the other thing, right? So Racer magazine or Racer,
Yeah.
has taken over MAV TV. So now Racer is now an all-encompassing digital and news format site, and I, I know it's right now. No, there's nothing changing right now. So I mean, the question is, what's going to happen? Say starting next year. That's the thing. Um, you know, there's some significant investors behind Racer, and in that, but the content they provide currently is not only going to get enhanced, and I think this is only going to help Mav. This if bringing these two together, I think it's going to be pretty cool. I don't know what your thoughts are.
I mean, I think it's fine. Obviously, like, or it. No, I shouldn't say it's fine. It's exciting because it's people motivated to put value into the entity. So it'll ultimately come down to whatever they make it to be. And
Yeah.
I mean, not
is
that MAV TV was bad, but I mean, it was kind of what wasn't it what CBS Sports was? Or are
I
they
think it's
separate?
I think they're trying to get back to what speed was.
Yes, yeah, and that's kind of where I was going with this.
So
If they could get back to
I
that
think
level, I think that'd be
what you're
great.
gonna I think what you're gonna see is because I think this is going to be the home of IMSA,
Yeah,
because you have to think there's a bunch of things. I mean, IMSA has a lot of content in the various support series, but one of the series that's very undervalued that they have that Racer is very tied into is the historic sports car,
Mhm.
which falls under the IMSA brand, IMSA organization. So I think this is going to be the home of IMSA. They are going to embrace streaming as opposed to, um, we're fortunate now that IMSA's like moved to YouTube, but I think this is like a precursor of them moving to YouTube, but Racer and Mav are going to run it for them because
Yeah,
I think that's what's going to happen.
yeah.
That's
No,
just my opinion.
I mean, obviously, and then, however, if that all turns out how it does, and that is IMSA's new home, I guess from there it really depends on I guess how much finances they have to go after some of the other series if they want to.
Yeah, I
'Cause,
mean,
if you,
let's put it this way. I don't know what the length of the Fox deal is for IndyCar.
yeah,
Um, but you know, um, if that doesn't improve, they're going to have to look to go into streaming. To be honest with you.
yeah,
So that's kind of what I kind of see happening. Could I as far as like the rights to F1, I don't know. I mean, they would need some serious dough to private equity money to come in and buy those rights.
yeah,
Because it is those rights are up.
mhm.
Because ESPN said they're not going to do it. I mean, what I think everyone wants to see is they don't want, like, if you're in the States, you don't want Sky.
Right.
If we're going to have an American or U.S. Formula One team, well, we're going to have two, technically.
Hmm.
You want to have U.S. broadcasters. I'm just saying, you want to, you want to have a. I'm sorry, you should have a U.S. broadcasting network. Let me rephrase that because we had Bob Varsha, David Hobbs, and Steve Matchett, both who were English. So I'm just, but I wasn't trying to go that route. But it's not going to be British centric as Sky is.
Right.
Yeah, in some ways, F1 TV is a little bit like that right now. But there's such a proliferation of British drivers, but it just, it just comes out a little too much. So
Yeah, and well, I think the going back and looking at some of those broadcasts on Speed, yeah,
yeah,
you didn't have much like British bias in a sense,
yeah,
um,
no,
because you
it's
had
very neutral.
yes, it was very neutral, but it was very neutral because you had each of those guys comment or oh my God. I can't remember the right word. They all worked together and paired very well with one another. They complemented
Yeah,
each other. Jeez.
yep, yep.
They all complemented each
No,
other really well.
no, you're
Varsha
100%
Varsha
right.
was your U.S. broadcaster, and he was the main guy. So I mean, any of the action was more or less called by him. And at the time, there really wasn't a U.S. driver or a U.S. team,
Yeah,
right? So right then and there, you already have no car or team or driver to like really back yourself against in
yeah,
emotion and whatnot. Um, I mean, Matchett was great in the fact that he had some technical ins and just really loved
yeah,
the sport and from that side and got excited looking at all that stuff. And then similar to how Sam is right now on F1 TV. And then
yeah, yeah. Oh,
Hobbs,
yeah. Sam Collins. Yeah,
yeah, and
yep,
then Hobbs, yeah, he's an ex-driver, but he was, I would say a few generations removed by that point. So
yep,
he's he's not looking at it like I know these guys
yep.
personally because I raced with them a ton or really at all. So he did have that kind of separation of like where he appreciated
Their ability,
yeah, their ability and all the moves and the action, whatever when it happened,
but
because it was
he
impressive.
had
But yeah,
no allegiance to
no,
being critical if it was a dumb move.
yes, right, right. And whereas now everyone seems like one person removed from knowing the driver of the
Yeah,
team kind of deal, and
yeah,
it just seems like all right, yeah, you have the in, and that's great, and you know, but it just seems like you're like pushing and pulling for that team once in a while. Which I mean, granted,
right,
it kind of came out with Matchett once in a while because he would root for his old team or any of his close friends that were in the paddock.
right.
But I mean, like he was rooting for everyone. Like
Yeah,
at that point,
yeah,
like it wasn't he wasn't like oh like you know Red Bull is the epitome of this grid, and we should shun them because they're not my favorite, but like they're dominating the sport. No, he didn't do that with Ferrari, and but he always looked at all the other teams and would cheer them on when they went through their up and downs, whatnot. I know I'm kind of just droning on at this point, but like it gets back to the whole bit where like when they have races where it was Lando, Lewis, and George in the top three, like, well, sorry, it was those three, and then it was Behrman, and then all at Silverstone last year. So like, you just couldn't get away from it at that race. And then anytime Max was dethroned last year, it was just like he's falling off a cliff. He's not gonna do it anymore. It's like I understand like the market today is all about headlines and gotcha phrases, whatever. Like if you can sum it up in 3 words, 5 words, whatever it is. But like, just the sport is F1 is what it is, and when you have drama and whatnot, like how 2020. Actually, you know what? The best analogy for this is Drive to Survive. Every single year they've come out, there's always been, I guess maybe not the first year, but like not as much on the first year, but like every season they mix scenes up from one race and another to try and make some storyline.
Yeah.
But then when 21 came around and you literally had a title battle for the ages, every single race weekend was changing back and forth for momentum and with big crashes, big implications, and yet that season rolls around and like I was really amped up for that because I was like, you could have not been handed a better season on a silver platter for you to present and show the world what F1 is when it is truly great. And what did they do? Nothing. That was one of the biggest balls ever dropped. Then last season was good because you had several different winners, and not just one-time race winners, but multiple Grand Prix winners for multiple drivers like that, which was nice. Yeah. So I mean, really shook up the grid from there. Granted, I didn't watch this past season, and I don't think I've watched the past 2 or 3 at this point because I'm just fed up with it. And then I see the memes of the series, and
this year I went
with Max and Lando at some podium, but
the only way I did it was I just went through and I kind of looked at different races or different shows and said, "Oh, I'm going to watch that one." Anything with Carlos, I watched, and then the rest of them I kind of cherry picked. So it was, I didn't watch. I can honestly say I didn't watch all of them. So, anyways,
this is all kind of getting back to Racer and Pav, but like I hope Racer does really well. I obviously. What Speed Channel was, I really hope that that's what they aspire to be, because if they could do it, that would be great. And if they could somehow, for the American market, pull every bit of motorsports into that one hub, that would be awesome.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Like I said, I think it's a likely spot for IMSA, but we'll see.
Yeah.
All right. Let's. There's not much more to say about the Lawson Sonoda thing. I think we just have to wait and see how it plays out this weekend, right?
Yeah. I did listen to the Box and Neutrals guys, so I'm caught up there.
Yeah.
They not their preview for this weekend, but last weekend.
Last weekend, the wrap up for China.
Yeah, they made a really good point. In that one, because I can't remember if the news broke when they dropped or what, but I mean, for for as bad as Lawson did, he was at 2 tracks that he hasn't been to. And like that's another thing to remember too. Like he hasn't
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
to
No,
me
you're right.
he's still a rookie in F1 because he hasn't completed a full season. I know he's like somewhat not a rookie because he's competed in more than what is it, like 2 or 3 races
Yeah.
for you to like get some rookie benefits, I think it is, of like additional testing before you get in the car. But
Yeah.
Man, like you put him at 2 tracks he hasn't been to, or at least not that I know of that he's been to before this, and
Right.
now you're going to go to Suzuka, a track where he's not only raced at in F1 before at the Racing Bulls, where yeah he finished behind Tsunoda, but like it was barely behind Tsunoda. Like it wasn't,
Yeah.
he was miles off of him.
Yeah.
And I think he was ahead of him. Lawson was ahead of Tsunoda at one point, and they swapped the two of them because of strategy. Because Yuki either Yuki messed up in the pits or the team messed up in the pits, but Yuki had the pace with the tires,
Yeah.
so it made sense.
Right.
But so not only that, he's also raced a few times in Super Formula, and I mean,
Yep.
talk about a fast car. Like you're not
Those fast cars. Yeah.
right. So
Yeah.
Suzuka is arguably the track with most he has with most experience, or I guess would be most well prepared
Yep.
for an F1 event. And two races seems way too soon. So, but I mean, we went into that last week as well.
Yeah.
So I wish him all the best for Yuki if he can prove that he's got pace. Good for him. But I mean, I'm not. I think Red Bull is delusional to think that they will win the World Constructors title, at least for this year, because I don't think they have the lineup to do it.
Right.
They clearly have the driver to win the driver's title, but I don't think the lineup is there. And I mean, again, not that Lawson or Yuki are bad drivers. I just think there's better ones on the grid that would be a better second driver. However, it's tough to say that as well because the Red Bull has been notorious to be just it's to one driver. That's all who can drive it. That was the other thing that I meant to mention. They Box and Neutral guys also brought up, what if Max leaves at the end of this year?
Oh, I know.
Right?
Yeah.
And then what they basically concluded to was you are generally you genuinely have a situation where if you remove the top guy, that Red Bull car goes from being the fastest car, or I guess now it's probably the third fastest, right? But if you have a top 3 car because you have the number 1 driver in it, and if he goes, that car falls to somewhere in the midfield.
Yeah. No, you're right.
So like that was a really interesting point I thought of, just like that's the difference a driver makes. And it comes down to a driver, the team, and oh my god, why can't I remember the third the third piece of that puzzle? I don't want to say finances because that's part of the team as well. But anyways, like there's always your three components to the race, and then I guess just luck of how the race goes around. But but I mean, if yeah, like the team part and the car part is really critical. But
Right.
like what really separates you from having a fast car versus having the top car, it's the driver. So
Yep.
yeah, that was
No,
that was
that's a good point.
interesting for sure to listen to, because then even um or I guess you're even seeing this on kind of the flip end, like with Williams. Um, you now arguably have probably the strongest lineup they've had since Bottas and Stroll,
Yeah,
I'd say. Um, or no, no, no,
you
no.
say it
I'm
right.
sorry. I'm sorry. Bottas and Massa.
Yeah,
Let me rephrase that. Not, because that car was like the second best car in 2014. Um,
yeah,
Granted, the Mercedes engine was super powerful at the time, so that's where they lucked out with that. But yeah, I mean the Williams lineup is definitely a strong one, but the car just isn't quite there to
yeah,
make that next step. But they've shown with capable drivers that they can, or I'm sorry, competent drivers, they can put in a good result.
yeah,
China wasn't great, but uh, I'm always a little skeptical to give praise on a sprint weekend, because you get one practice session and then you're just kind of locked into the car for the rest of the weekend.
yeah.
Um, so that's always tough to give any credit there. Plus, China, I would think, would be a stronger track for Williams, anyways, with the long straights, because
Yeah.
that's where they shine. Um, but
All right.
yeah,
Some good points there. All right. Should we get into our picks?
sure.
We got Nate's.
All right.
Uh, he's got Fernando for the win.
Okay.
Uh, Leclerc second,
All right.
and he has Pierre Gasly third. And his
Nate,
dark horse is Lance Stroll.
Nate, best of luck to you.
Yep. Oh, good luck. Good luck with those. My picks. I am gonna go with the Red Bull, and I am gonna go with Max Verstappen.
All right.
My reason for that is I think weather is going to come into play here. There's a threat of rain on Sunday, and if it rains, I think the Red Bull. I think Max is the best driver in the rain.
Hmm.
And my second,
It it's gonna rain in the morning, so by the
I
afternoon,
know, but just that's where I'm going with
yeah.
this.
Hmm.
And I'm going to go Oscar second,
Okay.
and I am going to go. I'm going to say Lewis bounces back with a third here.
Alrighty.
My dark horse is going to be. I'm going to go Kimi Antonelli.
Okay. Mercedes driver is your dark horse.
Huh? Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Well, he's
All
a rookie Mercedes driver.
Yeah. Yeah. Um. Uh. I am gonna go. I'm gonna go Piastri
Mm-hmm.
wins. Um. Because I think he's the hottest McLaren driver right now.
Yep.
I know Lando won Australia, and Oscar didn't have a, or had a mistake in the the wet there, but
Yeah.
Given that it's race 3 right now and the pace of that McLaren, yeah, he's quick. I'll go Lando P2 and Max P3.
Lando P2, yep.
Yeah. And then Max to finish out the podium.
Yeah.
Dark horse. All right, if you used Antonelli as your dark horse, can I use Sonoda as the dark horse?
Sure.
Okay.
Why not?
Because I mean, he's got nothing to lose this weekend, and it would definitely be a cool story. Not that I wish anything negative on Liam, but like that having a Japanese driver on the podium would be cool, and it would be the first time since Kamui did it in 2012.
Yep.
2013. One of those years. Granted, he did that in a Sauber, which was really cool. So.
Yep.
But yeah.
I like that. I like that pick a lot. All right. So we shall look forward to this weekend and see what happens.
Yes. And then
right.
Where's what Japan? F1's in Japan. Where's NASCAR this weekend? Did I stump him?
Darlington.
Oh yeah, it's throwback livery week.
Yeah, throwback.
Yeah. All right.
On that note,
good night.
Thank you guys for listening to the Red Mist Podcast, hosted by Christian Abbott, Sean Abbott, and Nathan Lavin. It's produced by Christian Abbott, and music is by Alex Wart and Harrison Tate.